Hey guys, it's Gina with Sidewalk Talk. Today, I'm with
Saymynitti.
Saymynitti.
Let's go.
How are you guys?
Doing good. Doing good.
We're hiking. We're getting our cardio in today, which is nice.
You're gonna hear us huffing and puffing the whole.
All right, you guys have the microphones. We didn't have an extra microphone, so this is how we're doing it today. So how'd you guys meet? Like, let's go history.
I think we met officially at Countdown, like in 2019.
Yeah, I think so.
'Cause I've always known your music, like played it like when you were making a lot of bass. But officially for the project, I think we really started like talking music and collaborating towards like the end of 2022.
I think so.
Yeah, right before we made Bing Bong, and yeah.
Why did you name it Bing Bong? Just curious.
Oh,
That's my favorite word of all time, by the way.
it's definitely from that. So it's legit from the New York like meme. But I made like a TikTok when I used to do like little sounds, and that one was obviously like super popular at the time. And I remember I was like, "Yo, I made this TikTok. Should we make it a real song?" And so like that just became my first collab because like I had that on TikTok and I never finished it. Sent it to David and he like finished it with me, and then we were just like, fuck it, let's just release it as like Saymynitti.
Yeah.
So like, how does that work as far as coming up with a duo and having the story between you guys and when you knew you guys would be a duo and like you would send music and turn it into a duo instead of just keeping it like a regular collab?
As far as like duo projects, I think what's working for us and what's like made this such a fun project is that I feel like it happened organically. You know, we're homies already, and like you don't want to like force like two artists.
I don't
and
want to be like super close either. So
you know, you don't want to force two artists to like try to make a project just for the sake of making it. You know, you gotta vibe with each artist has to vibe, and I think that's what's making this such a like exciting like experience already.
Yeah, I pretty much agree with everything you said. The funny thing about this is it almost was like we revamped it in a sense when we kind of like finally came to a like singular vision where like at first like when we released Bing Bong we were kind of just doing songs that we probably could have released that as Say My Name or as Nitty, and it wouldn't have really sounded too different from what our normal stuff was, but it actually got more fun when we like decided on the whole rave hard techno big room kind of like energetic sound. And then when we started doing remixes like Every Time We Touch and the Barbie Girl remix, it was like, oh wait, we should really dive into this like kind of like classic rave dance sound. And that's where we just completely like took it, and we were like, all right, need a logo, need a thing, need to make it, you know, feel like something special because it's more fun for us. We can do bass music and all that stuff separately, but like for Saymynitti, I feel like we're both like experiencing something new, and it doesn't, you know, at least it gives people a reason to go see it and not, you know, you can see Nitty and you can say My Name, do our bass sets, right? Mm-hmm. Why would you want to see Saymynitti? It's because it's a different sound, different music, you know, it's like actually something fresh, something new.
How fast was that process for you to be like, okay, we did this remix together, let's jump into the logo and everything like
Honestly, so once I got a place in LA like a few months ago, we kind of around like March, yeah.
So this was like very, very
yeah, no,
recent.
we
It's
legit
not like
were
a
in the studio
developing.
with like a bunch of writers and just even just like iPhone recording type of stuff. Like we have two songs coming out that are like more like big room techno, and it's just like us thinking of little vocal things, and it's that simple. So we probably do like 7 or 8 songs in the last like less than 6 months it just was so organic because like we both were like, holy shit, like he's super into hard dance and I used to love like all the DDR music, like Dance Dance Revolution type of stuff, and it just all made sense. So it was just cool because
Happened quick, yeah, because like to backtrack before, all right, so like back in April, you know, he hits me, he's like, yo, I have this like dope idea, what do you think about like going like 100 on like the old school rave theme? You know, we've been thinking about
It's genius, by the way,
and
like brilliant.
Yeah, so like you gotta imagine before that, between like 2022 and up until, you know, that conversation in April, you know, we didn't have a singular sound. It was just, you know, like the floating ideas of just collabs. And then once we, you know, kind of zone in on one sound, you know, we spent all of May or April, like part of April, and like most of May, just
You're right.
cranking out music. So it happened quick once like that conversation or was had, and the music just like started pouring out.
Wow. So how many songs do you guys have in your arsenal right now, do you think? Like how many songs are you working on?
At least 8.
8?
Yeah.
At least.
Really?
And remixes. Well, you know what it is?
And including or like remixes separate from the 8?
Separate, right?
Yeah,
I don't know.
we have
So
about
much.
at least 7 or 8 like originals, and then the newer remixes like
Wow, you guys
Heaven
move
and-
fast. Like
Inspiration.
wow, who came up with the idea who's the initiator as far as let's make this a duo?
As far as like the sound, I like Rickie. that was
It was Rickie.
I
Well-
feel like, well, it's not, I can't even take like credit like that because I just feel like I was seeing signs of like who would I say kind of really had a good start? I'd say like a little bit of Fregan, but then when Calvin Harris dropped fucking Miracle, it really hit me. I was like, ooh, this is cool. Like, I think that style of dance music, which I've always loved, because someone like him, who we all look up to, like did it, it gave us kind of like confidence to be like, you know what? It looks like people like this and miss this sound. So it's like, I can't even really take credit for like, it's just like I recognize that like because David loves it so much and I love it so much, it made sense for us to do it together and not just like do it like I wouldn't want to do it by myself. It sounds like more fun to do something, especially with someone who comes from bass and hardstyle, and he's actually one of the people that in the United States as a DJ plays a lot of that, and a lot of other guys don't. So it's like if there was someone to do this with, it makes sense to do it with him. So it's like I don't know. I think it just felt like natural.
super organic, and then even to just like touch more on that when we talk about the sound and how it crosses over to like our individual fan bases and like collectively at a Saymynitti set, it just feels so natural, you know. Like I feel like both of our fans are used to like the upbeat, you know, super big vocals on you know, these like more dance tracks, but still keeping that energy there. You know, like he said, I come from like the hardstyle world, so you can hear a little bit of that influence in it, but then you can also hear like, I feel like you add a lot of like groovy sounds and just like different rhythms that I'm not used to. You know, I'm more like the doom doom, and then you bring like the kind of like the houseier side to it. So
how does it usually work when you guys hop in the studio? Do you guys prefer working? Do you
Sorry, I was
usually
long-winded.
work?
I know. That's why I had to give it to you because I was like, after my last long-winded answer, I was like, oh, take this shit off. It's too much. I don't know. It's cool because I'm already used to like producing at anywhere we have to, and especially David is too. But like when you have to tour a lot, you get used to having to do it on the airplane or being in a studio. And when I got a place in LA, it was great because I was just like, yo, Dave, come on over. I'm gonna invite a writer over, and we just sat there and made the first like I think 5 or 6 in person, which was really good. I think for us to come together and see the vision really clearly, because like when you're with someone in the studio, like we were excited, jumping around, we're like, holy shit, this is like we're onto something. Like we really had that moment. It was like I think it was really special and made like the vision kind of come to life. That's why it's so heavily branded in that area. Why we picked up the suits and we're like, you know what, this just feels like something we can like, you know, just dive
Can we
into.
talk about the suits real quick?
I don't even remember like that might have been whose idea. I don't even that was not me.
I'm like scrolling through your
Men in
guys'
Black.
yeah, so it was from Escape,
Oh.
and like we're all I think it was just like our team was just like
Someone
what
told us, yeah.
yeah, like we're like, okay, what kind of movies
Oh.
inspire us? Like how can we dress up like, you know? And they were like, we'll do Men in Black. So originally, you know, that was the inspiration behind it. And after that set, you know, we had so many fans that were like, yo, the suits are cool. Like, are you gonna bring the suits back like at the next festival, the next Saymynitti set?
Oh,
And,
that just kind of like happened naturally
Yeah.
too.
Oh yeah.
So
yeah.
everything about this project just kind of happened naturally.
That's what how it's been pacing so far. You know,
Yeah.
we'll kind of like have an idea, and then it just like one idea develops off the next, and
Wow.
super like I said earlier, like organic.
Yeah. How would you guys describe each other?
Like individually, if I were to describe,
Yeah, if you're gonna describe Rickie and then vice versa.
Oh, I would say the worst person ever. No, I'm just kidding. Nah, Rickie's super. I'd honestly even say this, and this is even before like working close together, just like knowing him as just like another artist in the industry. One of the most like hardworking and just creative out the box when it comes to just like social media, music, on the business side. I think I've always like admired that about you, and then like the Nitty project, like as a solo project, that's something I've always
Yeah.
like
I noticed that about you too. You're very like your mind when it comes to business and ideas is like genius.
yeah.
I appreciate it, guys. Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, your brain never stops. It's just like
I gotta say a nice thing about David. I feel too
David,
weird.
Yeah. Okay.
No, I'm just
Let's-
kidding. I'm joking. I'm definitely able to take a compliment, and that I think that right off the bat, that's obviously one of the reasons why I love this guy is because having a project with someone that, to me, the first thing I noticed, I was like, yo, I love just being around him. And then our teams was the same way, which people don't see the back end, but like my tour manager and his tour manager are boys now. Our managers are all homies. Like our lawyers are friends. You know what I mean?
What?
Like his lawyer came.
Wait, I'm so.
Yeah, his lawyer
What?
came to Hard Summer and she said, "Oh, go meet David's lawyer. He's super nice." My manager was like, "He's awesome." Like people don't see this behind the scenes stuff, but our teams are like meshing so well. Obviously, you can front facing see that we're meshing well, but it's like there were so many things where I was like, of course, if this guy is, the leader of his team and he's this cool and and kind and humble, what all those words, everyone else on the team is going to be like that. So, I'm dying, guys. I was holding it in, but
You're like
it's too many.
answering these questions in like one breath.
yeah, I was like just taking one breath and then hitting it. But yeah, I think overall, like to me, that besides just the music flowing and stuff, it's been like just a pleasure to work with people in the industry that you just get along with. Like that really, at our point where like, we're lucky to be successful to a point, it's nice to just work with good people and not be worrying about like, let's go make bajillions of dollars. Like obviously we want to be successful and make money, but it's just nice to work with people that you like. So it's like, to me, that's the biggest thing about him and his team is like, we love them. So it's like, it's a lot easier that way.
That's amazing. So you guys are both in multiple duo projects. How do you balance all of that?
So I think all right. So honestly, Saymynitti is the first, I think, like committed project that I've had like on the side of working at Say My Name. I did.
What do you mean by like committed projects?
So for example, I've done like back-to-backs with other homies, and for example, last year I was doing shows with Riot 10
Yeah.
as Bloodsport.
Yes.
The difference between I think like a Bloodsport and Saymynitti, I think the Bloodsport is more of like a touring act where like if Chris's team hits me up and they're like, oh, let's play this festival, looks dope, but as Saymynitti, we're committed to making the music, the touring, the merch. There's no merch or there's no like music on like with the Bloodsport, which isn't a bad thing. You can
It's just a little
collaborate with
yeah.
different artists for different reasons.
Yeah, so I guess on my end, I've done one group already, so I've seen, and it kind of feels similar to that, but it's obviously not as all-inclusive, and I think that's a good thing actually, because like you said, we're just having fun with it. We're not trying to overly like put so much thought into it that doesn't become fun anymore, but we're just noticing that people are loving it and fans are liking the music, so it's like we just felt like, oh, this is gonna be fun for us to really do something and be able to do it. I think it's just, again, I always go back to a team, but like if you're organized and your team, your agent and your managers know how to like schedule it out, you can really do anything. The person I always like look up to with all that stuff is Diplo, just because he's always doing multiple projects and things, and I also enjoy doing that. So it's like, it's definitely possible. It's hard. I'm not gonna say it's not hard, but it's like, it makes it much easier when you enjoy it. And I think with Side Piece, I love house music. With Saymynitti, I love all this like old school like rave shit. So it's like, because I love it, it's worth spending that much time on it. It's like,
Right.
makes it worth it.
Yeah. Do you think like a part of starting and going into duo projects is because there's like some challenges that go with your solo projects that you don't like to, you know, do it by yourself? It's more fun with someone else and stuff.
Oh, that's a good question. I mean, my opinion on that is just like, I feel like it's a case by case. You know, different artists go into, you know, side projects for different reasons. You know, some artists do go into side projects when they probably see more momentum for that side project compared to their solo project that they probably been building for years, and then, you know, they just, you know, you see it all the time. But then also there's, you know, I think one of the coolest reasons and just like going into like a side project purely for like the artistic reasons, you know, for just exploring outside of, you know, your usual genre. Like for me, working as like, you know, Saymynitti, this has allowed me to, you know, explore the side of dance music that I've always kind of wanted to tap into. But being like, you know, the godfather of hard trap, that's not really, you know, I could play dance music in my sets, but when you've built like a name as, you know, in the trap world, there are expectations from the industry and your fans, you know? So
Right.
it's like, that's why like Say My Nitty is fun to just show like a different side of Say My Name, you know?
Just one last thing, I was thinking of it while you said that. It's kind of like when the inspiration strikes, that's why I feel like personally on Say My Name, why it feels like an obvious choice, because like I was so excited and inspired. The amount of stuff we made, it was like so worth it. So like to me, that's what advocates for doing. I would never add another, you know, you're not trying to overly spread yourself thin, you know what I mean?
Right.
It's just only if you're like, you know what, this isn't actually spreading myself thin, because I'm actually getting so much out of it, enjoyment. It's like you said, exploring a style of music that I've never been able to release as Nitty or as side piece. So it's like, you know, it kind of like makes it worth it, I guess, to, you know, spend the time.
Yeah. Are you guys focused on your solo projects at the moment, or kind of, you know, taking Say My Nitty together and seeing where it goes?
Yeah, it's so funny. We literally had a conversation with our teams this morning. But yeah, 100%. I'm, for the first time in like, I guess like 3 years, I'm about to do like, maybe it was 2 years ago where I did like a big like 10-song release plan with Nitty. But I'm about to do that same thing again while we're doing Say My Nitty. So it's super exciting, because I feel like the cool thing with Nitty is like, and I think it's the same thing for Say My Name. It's like Say My Nitty is a lot closer to actually Nitty, and literally the names are more obvious. It's not like, that's the thing about side piece. It's totally separate, and I like that. I think it should be. But I think Say My Nitty on purpose, I do want people to be like, oh, that's Nitty, and he's in Say My Nitty, and it's obvious, and maybe you'll hear those songs in each other's sets. Whereas side piece, it's like when people are like, oh, like I'm not gonna play dubstep at a side piece set, you know what I mean? But in Say My Nitty, we both are okay with playing like our rave shit and our techno shit, and then dropping a hard trap or dropping a dubstep song. So it's like, it's almost like they're kind of more washing their hands of each other and not really taking away. And that's,
that
at least for me, that's how I feel.
Like, I'm just curious, like, from your point of view, because I hear when I'm talking to you guys are really like dubstep artists, you know, house artists, like kind of separate things. And then there are some artists that are able to, their brand is to kind of dabble into everything, you know? So like, is it important, question is like, is it important in your opinion to be your own genre and just pursue that genre instead of kind of like expanding into multiple different genres?
Personally, that's a great question. Like personally, I mean, I've always like for example, if like artists have asked me this, you know, just advice, like, and this is, I think, just applying to like my personal career. I feel like my success and just trajectory in the industry has came from, you know, me really focusing on one sound and developing it. Now it is case by case. Not everyone, like, this is very like case by case, because I literally said like I want to develop hard trap as a genre. So I guess it's like, you know, a different perspective coming from me, but also at the same time, I never limited myself to playing everything. That was like one thing I always told myself. I'm like, you know, hard trap is my thing. I want to be known as the Godfather and build it, but also I want to play everything because at the core of it, you know, I love dance music as a whole. Like I love trance, hardstyle,
Yeah.
everything. So that was always like,
You felt like kind of trapped, you think?
no. So when I did that and I just kind of established it from the get-go, like the beginning, and worked on that for years, you know, fans know what Say My Name said. You can expect all genres, but I will play a lot of hard trap. So I think that really helped me.
So I think for me, I just had the opposite struggle where like because from the beginning I wanted Nitty to be like everything. I actually, you know how like grass is always greener. I actually love having something like Side Piece and Say My Nitty where we're like pretty direct and exact. But then, you know, once you start doing that, you know, you go back, you're like, oh shit, but it was so fun to release whatever I wanted as Nitty. So like, I'm just lucky now that I'm finally figured out release schedules and plans and my whole team is on board, that I'm very, very lucky to be able to have best of both worlds where like I am about to drop like 10 Nitty songs in like 5 or 6 different genres and then still do Side Piece, house music, Say My Nitty, rave shit, and, you know, leave it like that. But it just is like finally my dream is being lived where I'm like, oh, I'm able to have the little exact, this is this genre, this is this. And then I finally have Nitty like, again, ready to go to, you know, do whatever else I feel like doing. It's like a little bit of both because I've definitely seen why it is great to be doing one genre. But then like, you know, the Skrillexes and the Diplos are the people and the Snakes where you're like, yeah, they're still kind of doing everything and enjoying it. So.
When you guys were starting to, it's kind of like a learning thing, right? Like once you start working with another producer, they kind of have their own way of producing. Like, did you learn anything from each other, like during this music project? Like, how do you complement each other in music? Or what did you learn from each other music production-wise?
That's a good question.
Hey, it's a good question.
Thanks, guys.
Should we let the baby?
Oh, I wish I brought my baby.
Yeah. I think like right off the bat, like what I noticed about working with like Rickie is just like how fast you work.
Oh, you're like, oh, okay.
Yeah, and I think that's something that.
What do you mean by fast? Like you
just
come up with the melody like really quick or like a skeleton?
Yeah, skeletons, melodies. I've always, like, I feel like I'm always like the slowest worker. And it just, that's just been my workflow for just ever since like high school. But it's always cool to kind of like match that energy or match that flow of like a, you know, and not even just like I said, my nitty, but just in, you know, the past, like, you know, I've worked with other producers that have, you know, they'll send like ideas quick and I'm like, all right, this is cool. Let me see what I can do and not like spend like 3 months on one idea, you know?
What about you?
I feel like I also have like almost the opposite thing where I like to learn to like slow down and like I do work really fast, so it's beneficial to also come back and like we were discussing like a name this morning for a song because I'm so fast with it in a sense that it sometimes is like not great because I'll like skip little steps like I'm like, okay, we're gonna release a song, and then we got to like artwork and this, and I'm like, wait, the song name sucks, and it's like that sounds like very minimal, but those things matter, and like having a vision and for the song, and you know, like we were like trying to rename the song last minute, and I was like, shit, I gotta start like, you know, we gotta like put enough time and effort into these songs where usually I can get tracks out really fast and stuff, but you know, pushing music, like David posted an ID we have on TikTok, and it went crazy, and it was like, that's one of the benefits of having someone else, you know, to work with because I didn't even think to like post it as like an ID or on TikTok, and he did, and then it went crazy and got like, you know, 100,000 views and people were like asking for it at our sets, and I was like, oh, this is great. Like I didn't even think of the idea, the creativity to like him just like singing the song, posting it, and then when it did, it went crazy. So it's like, it's really good to have a teammate, I guess, to like, you know, it takes a lot to push a song. It's not just about the production. It's literally 50-50. Like the whole Barbie thing was sick because we played it. We're in like
Who came up
Dallas.
with the idea to do something with Barbie?
I thought of the remix, but the thing is, I didn't plan it with the movie at all. Like we got really lucky, and then
You didn't?
I swear, because like
Wait, I was like, this is genius marketing, you guys.
we got lucky
Timing.
that it was. What the thing is, we did Every Time We Touch, Heaven. like all these classic like dance songs, and I swear I was just like, oh yo, like let's think of like 2000s rave songs, and obviously Barbie Girl's one of them. That's like just a classic ravey kind of Dance Dance Revolution song. And then it just turns out like the week that we play it, I'm like, holy shit, yo, let's get a raw clip and post it. And then the movie comes out, and then I was like begging everyone. I was like, please, we got to release it the day of the movie. And then like everyone's like, God damn it, Rickie. All right, fine, shit. Fucking, we just had to like hurry up and get it out just because like, you know, the movie. But honestly, it did numbers, so it was a great idea. It's just kind of random sometimes, and I'm always the last. That's my problems. I'm procrastinating. Like, oh, I just made, let's put it out immediately. And then, you know, David's like, oh, we got a plan for Love Like This and all these other songs we have, which are amazing and I'm excited about. But it is nice because I'm like the ADD, like running too fast, and then David's like chilling, like, yo, let's post this ID, get it out there, let people love it, and then, you know, that way is always working as well. So it's just like a interesting balance, I guess, of like teamwork, where like David definitely like, I'm always learning to like slow down a little bit and be like, oh, you know what, we should think about this synth or whatever, you know, just like to maybe like relax the song or with release plans. It's like, it's a lot of work, so it's crazy.
Have you ever heard the song like Dota from Bass Hunter?
Yeah, we didn't edit that.
Oh yeah.
Wait, you did one?
Yeah, but that one's kind of just the original one. Like, wait, no, is it Dota or no? It's
No, that's all I've ever wanted. They literally sound the same. But yeah, Oliver wanted.
Because it's my favorite game of all time. So if you guys did that, I'd be.
Yeah, no, definitely. And that's like going back to like even the inspiration behind, you know, the sound. Like we want to tap into those older songs.
Yes.
You know, that's like and bring it back. Whether it's we're playing the original without any edits to it, or just bringing it back and like adding just an edit and making it just reintroducing it to, you know, the new fans that, you know, they missed that. They probably weren't even born when that era was around, you know.
Oh my gosh, I used to listen to that song so much.
It's a good one.
Yeah, that's a classic.
It's a good one. You guys should do something. So what's your take on TikTok? A lot of artists that I've talked to, they hate the idea of TikTok. But with you guys, I feel like it's like pretty natural. Like, what's your take on TikTok?
I used to hate TikTok when it was more of like just a dancing app, and I remember having meetings with like my manager and like creative team.
Phase.
Yeah, back in like 2019, they were like,
Yeah.
hey, to promote your new song, like either you're gonna have to hire dancers or you're gonna have to learn how to do these dances yourself. And I was like, ain't no way. But like fast forward to 2022, 23, you know, now you see there's an EDM community that, you know, you can post your music without doing a dance or without, you know, trying to be like a comedian or make skits. You can just post raw clips, you know. And that's when I started to like it more and be like, all right, it's not that bad of an app, but I'm addicted to TikTok now.
I feel like you're like master of TikTok at this point.
Yeah, TikTok is like,
Yeah, this is his.
I don't know. I mean, I definitely took kind of like a hiatus, but it was because it was like hard to like constantly do it, because like you can either be you got to choose. Like, I don't want to be a TikToker. I'm a musician. I like that more. So it was like, I like to have fun and be creative. And I've been doing like skits and stuff since I first started. So it's just kind of natural to like, you know, do some of the beat videos, do some of the stuff. But I never wanted to like overtake and make the quality of the music tank. So like I kind of relaxed and was like, all right, you know, let me think about this. Let me get back in the studio. We had some side piece stuff to work on. I had my nitty stuff. We start like, there's so many good things that happen when you don't just focus on social media. So I don't want to like discourage people from using it. I just think there's a balance. Like, just be honest. Like, do you want to be a musician and post things about you and your personality and your music, or are you just going for the trends and just doing a thing? Because it's like, I've seen people go viral and it doesn't help their career. You know what I mean? Going viral doesn't always really work. I've been viral a lot. I think I was one of the first DJs really to go viral on TikTok. And at that moment, it really wasn't like life-changing. It was just like I dropped something on Walgreens, and then I did something at a hotel, and then I did like a White Claw one, and it was like on the news, and people would like hit me up or like follow me, but it wasn't like, you know, it wasn't always helping ticket sales and stuff. So it's like, once you have like the culmination of the meaning, like On My Mind is a good example of it actually working, because it's a song that got big and people like the song. So it's not, you know, it's not about, oh, you're cool, you went viral on doing some dumb shit. You know what I mean? It was actually worthwhile because it was a song. So it's like, I don't know. I get why people don't like it, because even for me, I was like, yeah, this is cool, but like, is it about looking good and getting likes, or is it about pushing your music and getting people excited for it?
But there's also like the other side where there's artists or there's people that became artists on TikTok.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I've definitely have been seeing more of that, especially
Yeah.
with DJing. Like I've noticed there's a lot of, and it's dope to see the music community growing in different ways. Where I've seen like I have a friend who she just like I think like a year ago she just started posting mashups. Like she had like the most basic DJ controller, and she's just in her room doing mashups.
Oh.
And then like now she's getting gigs and she's like pursuing it full time. But at the time it was just she was just doing these, and she's really good at it, and she's just been improving, and it's dope to see like artists like that who like I feel like, and you probably have like a similar story, but like I obviously didn't get into music through social media or through an app or like making things for an app. I got into music like way before TikTok, obviously, and just from hearing it on the radio and learning it, buying the equipment, and just like basically the opposite way, which no way is like a good or the way. It's just a different way.
Do you? Because there's this thing where I heard that, people that become artists on TikTok, like TikTok artists, aren't really like respected. Is that? Do you hear that?
Yeah, and I think and there are a lot of talented
why
artists.
Is that though?
And because I think there's like a formula that I feel like people try to follow where they go, oh, this should be good for TikTok. And I know some DJs that have spoken on this, and they're like, I don't want to make songs for TikToks. Their record labels telling them like, hey, like, have you seen this song? You should make it. It's big on TikTok. And I think that's where that kind of gets that bad, there's that bad rep where you're forcing yourself to make something for likes rather than just making it for the benefit of your creativity,
I see.
Yeah, I think that one's like it's like kind of a rocky road to speak on, just because I honestly am so over the like too cool for school attitude. It really it got so bad for me, and I almost am totally fine with people doing corny shit, and people like, bro, I just have like, if you're, especially when it's these kids that are having fun, they're like, we're not roasting Bieber for making pop and getting big. Why are you gonna roast the kid that's making corny EDM ones? Like, I say corny, but I don't mean that in a bad way. I'm like, it's okay. You're allowed to make whatever you want. There's a huge niche for everything. There's people that, like us, we're doing like big room TikTok, like rave edits of like Barbie girl that can be considered like good or bad, and people will say what they want, but it's like, yo, who the fuck cares? I'm enjoying it. And there was, thousands of people enjoying it with us on stage. So it's like, as long as you're enjoying it, to me, that's the biggest deal. It's not about like, oh, it's like not respected. Like there are kids like that kid Jake he had a beautiful piano ballad, and it went on. What's the song called? Like
Golden Hour.
Yeah, Golden Hour is a beautiful song. Like there's no way that people aren't respecting that, and that kid is from TikTok. So there's obviously examples of people making, like, we didn't make On My Mind thinking this is gonna be a good TikTok song. Like that pretty much just started everybody sampling old 90s songs. We didn't do it because it was like the cool thing to do. It's just like sounded good, and like, we like house music. That's why we did it. It's like same thing for the rave shit. It's like we're not just doing Barbie Girl because like, oh, we know it's gonna go big. It's just like, no, we were naturally already gravitating towards rave shit, and we wanted to do it. That's it. It just makes sense with marketing. Why not put it out, at the same time? So it's like,
and if it works on TikTok,
exactly.
If it works on TikTok, that's like a plus. It's like, but that's funny because like, even with like some of the like recent, like on my comments, there are like random people that are like, oh, this is that techno or TikTok techno, and like that was the first time I've even heard that phrase. I'm like, for one, like I didn't know there was a TikTok techno genre, but two, like
I didn't either.
But it's like it's like new. It's new. Like it feels new to me. Like even seeing a comment like that, it's like it's new, and I'm like, Yeah.
So hypothetically, if you guys were to start from zero, like you could even say like I wouldn't even pursue music, but like if you were to like right now, you just are at zero, how would you? What would be like the way you would try to like make it in the music career? Or do you think it's too hard?
Now?
Like now, like right now.
Oh.
Like what would be your strategy?
Like just
Curious.
that's
pretty similar, but
It'd be like TikTok.
if you
Like
don't
TikTok
if you
is
don't have an idea, I have
SoundCloud.
an idea, but
yeah. I mean, like Like I think just like the biggest thing for me, like I probably would be like, okay, I needed like social media needs to be my best friend, you know. Like
Yeah.
for me, SoundCloud was like the tool
Yeah,
I
yeah, I
use.
was
Now
gonna
it's
say
like, it's yeah.
Now it's TikTok. Like, is it safe to say that TikTok is the SoundCloud?
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's what
Now?
my whole point of answering this question is, to just bring up the fact that like it's just the new of the same old stuff. So like everyone complaining that like, oh god, TikTok's ruining music. Bro, everybody's been saying that since they said CDs were going to ruin music. Then they said Napster was going to ruin music. Then they said Spotify. Like, get over it, man. Like, just you got to just move with the times and do stuff.
Yeah,
Like,
exactly.
the reason I love certain artists that continue throughout, you know, moving, the Tiestos, the Guettas, the Diplos, the Skrillex, is because, bro, you don't see any of those guys on social media complaining like, oh no, I have to do, like, those are 40-year-old men. Think about this. Those are all 40 to 50-year-old men spending time on TikTok doing social media. Like that, I respect it. I don't hate on it and say they're corny. I'm like, they have millions of dollars and they could just be chilling in their LA or Vegas or whatever. And I mean that in a they deserve it way. I'm saying like they don't have to be doing this, but it's because they realize like don't feel so entitled that you're like, oh, this is an excuse for me that I'm not making it because blah blah blah. Like it pisses me off when people do. I'm like, bro, if you have, like, we had to do SoundCloud remixes to make it in our era.
Yeah.
That's literally what me and him were probably emailing diplo@gmail.com, and here, David Guetta, I'm DMing you. Like, still do that shit, bro. Everybody has to go through that. It's just the new version of it. Don't worry. Like, everybody has to have that little handing out demos. It was CDs, then it was SoundCloud, now it's TikTok. It's just like, just suck it up. That's really my honest answer, is like, it's not that big a deal. It's gonna change to a new app and you'll all go hate on that.
We need this mentality. We need more of this.
It's just that really is, I'm sorry, I have to say it because I'm tired of seeing people. I'm like, bro, everybody hating on the new thing. Like, just put work in, enjoy it. Don't look at the stuff, the negative. We, like you said, we get people like, oh, this isn't even real techno. People say that about Side Piece. Oh, this isn't even real, you know, tech house. It's like, we don't care. We're making our own version of it. It's fine. There's plenty of people that are enjoying it with us, and you don't have to like it. It's like, people get so afraid of that. When you post something online, you're expecting to get both comments. Like, you can't expect only to get good stuff. So,
of course.
my rant is over. I'm sorry, guys. I'm sorry.
But like,
Good rant.
why are there so many subgenres?
It's too many.
What?
Too many for me.
There's like, I think now, like when I was growing up, there was like 5. It's like, you know, just like 5 simple genres, pop, whatever, blah, blah, blah. And then now people get, but it's not even like, why are there so many subgenres? It's like, why are people getting so offended?
I don't know.
Yeah, that's like honestly. So like hard trap is a subgenre that literally is hard style and trap music, and that was literally like an idea I had, just being like, okay, I want to take the best of both worlds and like try to do something different. And I got a lot of hate from like a lot of like OGs in the hard style like community. Like
Really?
when I first started, yeah, people are like, don't play on a hard style show, like don't play that at our hard style shows, and you know, but I was like so passionate about it, and you know, that there was a lot of love that came with it. You know, it was new, it was different, and I think like any subgenre, like if you decided to go, all right, Side Piece, let's do tech house trap, you're gonna get love and hate, but also that'll be a crazy new genre. You know, that's like new territory that, you know, no one has touched.
Ooh, this is the first good view.
Whoa!
Yeah, this is nice.
So pretty. Oh, I have to ask you, what is your ultimate comfort food?
Ooh, that's a good question. I think my ultimate comfort food, dumplings.
Dumplings?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah,
What kind of dumplings?
like comfort food, as in like food that
Wait,
like you just kind of like put you to sleep type. Like,
Okay, so my roommate, she's like, her nickname is Dumpling Queen.
really? Okay.
And so she makes the best dumplings.
Yeah, no, I love.
She's like a chef.
Yeah, anytime I just
Oh.
like especially coming back from a show, if it's been like a long weekend and I'm like, I need something that's just gonna like reset me, I'll go get Din Tai Fung, and I'll get the shrimp and pork dumplings, and then yeah, I could eat those.
Maybe it wasn't a good time to talk about food because I'm really hungry. Oh man. Well, if you ever go to Chicago, there's a soup dumpling spot called QXY in Chinatown. So if you ever go, yeah, you should go there. What's your ultimate comfort food, Rickie?
Mine's tough. Recently, me and my girlfriend have been getting Peruvian food, which basically every time it's lomo saltado, which is like rice, french fries, steak, onions, and tomato. And it's like this crazy sauce. And it's like, it also reminds me of a little bit of like Caribbean food, like Haitian food and stuff, which I grew up on. So it's like any like rice, beans, chicken, and like sauce type of stuff. Like if I really had to pick and just sit down and be like, oh, I feel like comfortable and I'm eating this, it would be that. Like some type of, right now though, it's definitely Peruvian because the lomo saltado is just amazing.
Lomos, what?
Lomo saltado.
Lomos saltado.
It's delicious.
Wow. Is there anywhere in LA you could get that?
We found, I can't remember the name. There's this crazy one in like we have a place in Florida, obviously, like near Miami, and there's a place in Miami, and that one is my favorite. But we found one in LA that was like good. It wasn't as good because I feel like there's not as many Peruvian restaurants here, but it was still it got the job done. Like, you know. But the one in Miami is truly amazing.
What is the biggest lesson you learned in the music industry?
I think the biggest lesson I've learned is to just keep going, don't stop, and don't stop believing. You know, and I like that's something that I've always, you know, it's always in the back of my head, you know, because it's like as an artist, I would say, you know, there's highs and lows. You know, everything's not always going to be easy. You know, there's going to be times where you're going to be challenged, whether it's like a crazy work schedule or you're just like simply exhausted and you just got to think, okay, what are you doing this for? What's your reason that, like, why don't you want to stop? And I think that's something that, like, is super essential to me.
Pretty similar, probably, but I guess I'll think of a different one because that one's so good. That I definitely am like a
biggest lesson you
keep
learned.
moving. I think okay. This is I say this one actually most of the time too, so it's different. But I think the biggest lesson I've learned is like having people around you that can help you meet your goal, aka like managers and agents, but just people that are, you know, you really got to do your best to like have people around you and on your team that are gonna actually take care of you in a sense of like mindset, you know, health, not just like, oh, are you making good music and you're making everybody money? Because like obviously there's super sad stories of DJs and people, you know, passing away because of people around them and themselves not taking, you know, you're not taking mental health seriously, and I'm sorry, I wouldn't say that they're not taking it seriously, but they're struggling with things like that. So it's like, if you don't have those things in check and you don't have people around you, to me, that's the biggest lesson of like, you can have it all and really lose it or not enjoy it, or, you know, in the dire circumstances, you can literally pass away from things that are, you know, of this nature. So I think it's really important to have people around you that are going to like take care of you, and you also yourself doing your best to like take care of your health and you know, mental stability, because like everybody struggles with it. It's no piece of cake to like just being alive is a miracle. It's like we're every single day everything is a struggle. So it's like definitely having people around you that are gonna help take care of yourself.
Was there a point in your guys' career where you thought about quitting? Like seriously, like I can't do this. I don't think I can do this anymore.
There was one point in my career, and it was like I had the craziest writer's block. This happened to me twice in my life, where I've had a writer's block that like lasted more than like 2-3 months, where I just could not finish ideas. But this second time around, it was like, I think it was like part of it is the pandemic kind of affected me, like, you know, pushed me into that. And like coming out of the pandemic, it was tough to kind of readjust and like write and be inspired again. And like it got to a point where I was just like, I wasn't like I want to quit, but it was just like I want to stop, like, because it's not fun, it's not fulfilling, something's not like the stars weren't aligning like they were, and you know that was, you know, I think it was just because like I have just literally just a writer's block. But you know, that's where the phrase like don't stop, you know, because I'm like, at the end of the day I love it, and as much as it was like tough to sit in the studio some nights and write and finish ideas, it was also fun. Like it was also like it helped me, you know, through the pandemic and stuff. And I was like, okay, it's tough, but it's also, I still love it, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I also had a very similar moment, but mine actually came after COVID, because surprisingly I kind of found some like rest and like some peace and quiet. And I know that I don't mean that to, you know, make light of a situation that it's horrible how many people passed away and stuff like that. But I was lucky enough to be able to, I toured a lot, and I finally got this like extended break where I was at home playing video games, streaming and doing things. So it took me after that to then realize like I got back down into touring, and what I want to say, I guess 2022 is kind of when it was really moving again. And I remember basically the beginning of this year after 2022, and it was a great year. A lot of touring, people were back, festivals were back. It was great. Like everybody was making money again. We were able to do a lot of normal things. And I remember like the beginning of this year, I just was like, it was more of not like I wanted to quit. It was like unfulfilling. I was like, what am I like missing? And I felt like basically the lesson I learned was like I was just paying attention to like how successful or how many likes or how much people were commenting, or like it wasn't really about making good music anymore. And I had to like legit take up the month of January off to like kind of get in my own head and come back to like, oh my god, that puppy's so cute. I'm sorry.
Oh my gosh,
had to take a puppy break.
Yes, me too.
That was basically exactly what happened in my moment, is that I had a puppy break and it solved all my problems.
Yeah.
But yeah, similar to what David said, it was just like, it was discouraging. Like I couldn't enjoy it. And then, like I spent 6 months getting healthy, and then me and David started really making a bunch of music, like with the side piece stuff. Still, we have, we got assigned to a label, and then I started getting inspired again to make nitty music, and it was just like I'm finally back on a roll. But like mine was actually super recent, like pretty much at the top of this year. I was like, why am I not enjoying myself anymore? And it was like, maybe there's people that do feel like they want to quit, but there's also, I think, a big amount of people that are just like have trouble finding enjoyment in it again. And I'm sure it'll happen to me again, but obviously I feel much better now. It's just like that shit is real. Like it's impossible to do something forever and always enjoy it. I'm sure you do sidewalk talks, that you've been doing this for years, you know what I mean? So I know it's like it's hard to wake up every day and always be grateful and enjoy it, just because our minds don't work that way. So
it's hard.
It's not easy, but I mean, hey, we're still kicking.
Yeah, exactly. Like your answer before, when it came to like surrounding yourself with good people and everything, it like makes a huge difference, especially with managers, because a lot of common thing is like managers tend to take advantage or don't really care too much about the artist. They're just seeing the potential of how much money they can make in their pockets. So like that's my question. How do you find a good manager? Is that like luck, or just like hard work meets luck type of thing?
I feel like, it's like to find a good manager or even like agent team, it's really like, that's like a touchy subject. Not for me, but like it's because you hear about these like crazy stories of like, like crazy fallouts and like managers that did their artists dirty. But then you also hear like the good side. And I think it comes down to understanding who you're working with, especially before you sign a contract, getting to know like their personality and being like, okay, this person's a real one. Or, like it could be, like I met my manager through a friend of mine, and like he was just like, he was like put in a good word, and we just developed like the relationship. But it was like that was through a friend, and I feel like that's easier. Like, it doesn't happen like that always. Some artists like are doing it on their own. They're out networking, just trying to find someone at a club and just be like, hey, like I'd like to meet you, have a meeting, rather than having someone be like, yo, like I'm gonna set this meeting up for you. This guy is cool. I think he can take your career to the next level,
Oh, okay. So like like kind of mutual, like knowing kind of them, or like trusting,
the word. I trusted, the word of my friend, because he worked with them. And I was like, okay, like I'll take your word for it. So
yeah.
But it's it's different case by case.
I just keep hearing more negative manager stories than positive ones. So it's like, how do you even? It's so crucial for an artist too.
I think the key is like pretty much what David said, is you also have to be responsible for like, don't create this fantasy like, oh, I met this guy and he promised me this stuff, oh, it's gonna work out, because I think it's like people kind of create it in their own head and they make excuses. But if you start to see bad things, and like your manager's at the show getting drunk, and then you have to like get him in an Uber home, it's like you can't just be like, oh, that only you gotta actually be paying attention, like, oh, like wait, he was irresponsible and didn't get this contract to a lawyer. you gotta pay attention to the red flags. Honestly, it's like you gotta. I would say for pretty much everything, you really have to like test waters. Like it's always a good idea to be patient. Like this is just an example because I love cars, right? So I'm always like online looking at cars, and like if I really was an idiot, I would just be like, oh, I'm just gonna go buy this car right now, and just this would be great. It's great, and I do that every day to myself. I'm you know, not every day, but like all the time. It's something I enjoy, and I'm like, oh, this is a great price. I could just go buy it. But like if you do that with a car, and then you didn't look into the car, and now it has a bunch of problems, you got to replace the engine. You're just making it's like a very obviously stupid decision. And if you had waited an extra week or gone and gotten a second opinion, like you said, a friend of to tell you that, oh, this manager's cool, like that shit is super important. So it's like, just be patient because everybody's like so fast. Everyone's 7-second, 15-second TikTok brain now. It's like you just you know, be patient. I think is probably the best answer for like the whole manager thing is don't just like jump into any of those situations quickly because it should be a lifelong, you know, process. Most people when they end up with a good manager are with them for I've been with mine for since 2014, 2015 probably, so almost coming on 10 years, and I've never changed my team. I've only added to the team. So I feel like that's kind of like a flex in a way, and I'm happy to brag about that because it's not really me. It's like my team is so good that I've never really had to change it. So it's like, you know what I mean? It's like I love them for that because you know, it's like very lucky, very blessed, but I think it's because the people slowly that got added on continually were bringing in other good people because they were all good people. So it's like, again, like I said about like David's team is why I was like, you know, I could obviously trust his manager because I trust him and he's a good guy. So I'm for sure going to, you know, probably see that in his tour manager and all the people around him. But definitely be patient with like the whole team and management thing.
That's very good advice. What is a piece of advice that you would give your younger self?
Like as far as like music or just in
general, like little David.
I think for like me, like on a personal level, even just like this applies to just being as an artist. I'm like I've gotten better with this, but I've always been like an introvert, and like if I can give myself like one piece of advice in different periods of my life, you know, whether it's the beginning of my career when I was like trying to network or just even in school, just build and maintain like more relationships. And you know, because I have a tendency, or I had like a tendency to like close myself off, and whether it's closing myself off to like different artists or like, you know, missing out on opportunities to, you know, build certain relationships in the industry or even just outside the industry. That's like one thing I would always tell myself and be like, yo, like be a little, you know, a little bit more social, but not like, you know, it's hard when you're an introvert. It's like,
me too. No, I'm a mega introvert, okay? My roommates make fun of me for never leaving the house. Unless I have to do like an interview or something.
Yeah, it's easier now. I mean, like as I'm older, I'm comfortable with, you know, people. Yeah. But you know, when I was younger, it was like, I legit was like afraid at some points to go be around people. But you know, it's just human nature. So.
That's a good one. I felt that one. I was in on that.
Wow, that was really so relatable. Yeah.
Hashtag relatable.
Do you still have that character, by the way?
Oh, Rebecca.
You
know, I have to bring it back eventually. There's people with tattoos of Rebecca. Like,
wait, what?
There's 2 people I'm pretty sure that have tattoos of a character. Well, they put like my logo. They put Nitty, or I guess the old logo, the Nitty Gritty one, but. I think they had like the Rebecca thing. I mean, who knows? Maybe they removed it by now. I wouldn't blame them. I feel bad.
It's a tattoo.
It's been so long. Yeah, I mean it is, but yeah, it's just so funny. I love doing that shit. It's too fun.
Wow, the fact that you have like someone tattoo like a separate personality of you, that's influencing.
That's wild.
Wow. Yeah.
It was fun. I think that's what it is. I didn't even think about how crazy that is. But you're right. Now that you put it out there, it is insane. Like, yeah. There's a few people that just have Nitty ones, so the fact that I even have another separate part of it is like insane. That's wild. That's so cool. I wish someone had like a Gina tattoo. But anyways, what's the piece someone's got to do it, okay? First, Gina tattoo. What's the piece of advice you would give young Rickie? I think the best piece of advice I could have given myself is I think I'll piggyback off of it because you almost said it so real. I thought about it and I was like, oh, wait, that's actually something I should have done. But kind of in a more personal way, like keeping personal relationships and like putting them in a way of not, it's hard because like I think every human does this, but like, oh, if they aren't treating me great, I'm not going to stay around them. And I'm not saying like stay in bad relationships, but I just mean like people that meant something to you, even if you fall out of like, you know, being best friends or friends, like keeping in touch is so important. I realize that now, like being older, like I have less friends. And it's not like I wanted all 30 of the high school friends I had. It's not like I need that many, but it's like sometimes I'm like, man, I probably should just, like right now I'm trying to do that more often with like some of my high school friends where I'm like, you know what, I really did share something with you and I want to like keep that alive. So it's like, it's hard when I basically put work before everything, and now I'm, once it's like everyone does this, it's like a circle. You're like, okay, I have to like get rid of my friends to be able to focus on work. Very healthy. But then you get so used to that, then you don't even focus on your friends. So now I'm back in the cycle of like, okay, I gotta bring them back in around me, and at least personal relationships and stuff. So it's definitely something I would probably tell myself, like, hey, don't forget about your personal time and personal relationships and stuff. Wow, this guy's got a bottle on his head. It's awesome. He's doing it. He's doing it.
How are you? Good, how are you?
I'm just trying to get the bottle of water in the shot. That is so impressive. How is he doing that? I wonder what the purpose of it is. To like posture?
Like course, I mean, probably just,
I mean, the posture is very important.
yeah.
I have terrible posture. I'm trying to work on that. Few more questions. What's on the top of your guys' bucket list for Saymynitti?
Ooh, this
Top
is an
goal.
exciting one. Because we've just been sharing like a lot of goals, even just personally like together and then like with our teams. You know, I feel like there's so much on the horizon that like we want to accomplish. I think one of like the immediate goals for Saymynitti is just, you know, establishing, you know, obviously like a brand like our sound, and you know, like on a more international scale, just playing like festivals, you know, any shows that like, you know, major imprints, you know, like the ultras, and just really taking Saymynitti to that like international, like this is our mission. This is, you know, we want to like build the rave culture, not just, you know, in LA and like the US, but just worldwide. Like, let's take what we're doing here.
You guys went to Korea, right?
Yeah, so that's like a start, you know, and that was massive. Like,
Yeah, Korea. I would say one of my like key ones I'm thinking of, just because the way the sound is and how Europe has always been a huge part. You know, it's like Eurodance and rave music has always been kind of where that sound that we're exploring, I guess, has come from. So I would say an immediate goal for me would be to take Saymynitti to Tomorrowland. I just feel like it would be so cool to like experience
Of course.
that crowd with this music. I think would just be, you know, and it's a little bit of a new flavor. So maybe there's some kids that are gonna hate that we mixed in a little bit of bass music, but I think that's what makes it us, is like we're not just going and doing the same thing and it's just the, you know, because Hardwell's doing big room techno and like Guetta's doing future rave, so it's like there's similar sound system. We're inspired by all those guys, but I feel like we kind of are bringing in a bit of the like Cascada and then also some of the like little bit of cool bits and pieces of bass music. So I'd say that would be a goal, is to like get people to really understand and see why we love this and why it feels, you know, kind of new and fresh for us.
I can see it totally happening like next year.
Oh man, that would be.
Yeah, like for sure.
Can you imagine Saymynitti at Tomorrowland? It'd be insane.
Insane.
Perfect.
Have you guys played Tomorrowland?
I haven't. The only like major,
Oh.
yeah, like the only like major European festival I've done was Prugerville, and I feel like that's like the closest to Tomorrowland and like experience that European like rave culture. And I'm just like, after I did that, I was like Tomorrowland is still, yeah, it's still like on the top of the bucket list. But yeah, have you played? Or?
Yeah, I played as Nitty with Shaq with Diesel, did like this
that's
bass stage
right.
one year, and that was sick because I was like not expecting Europe to be like, there was this actually like flourishing like kind of dubstep and bass scene in Europe right before COVID, I think, like, and there still could be, I just haven't been back that much to really know, but in like 2019 I think it was, and that was super fun. And then when the first year back, we did Side Piece, and like the thing is, honestly, the festival is just beautiful. It's like it's the best food, the best.
I heard
you know, the
the
stages.
best food.
So the food was insane there. Oh my
I
God.
heard.
So
like
good.
I've never heard of a festival having amazing food.
It
and-
definitely had like some of the number
Yeah.
one.
That's good, man.
Oh my God, a three-legged dog too. He's so cute. Bro, all these dogs are crazy. The guy with the bottle.
Drop my dog.
Yeah.
He's so mad at you right now. She's like, why?
I'm so depressed. I think that's like I need to come back here again. Pretty much, that's what I have to do. I lost my train of thought after seeing the dog.
Too many puppies, my God.
Right.
We were talking about tomorrow. Oh,
yeah.
Diesel. Oh, and the food at
Food at-
Tomorrowland.
yeah. all
Yeah.
that.
Yeah, that was one thing. Like even like at Perukaville, it was like I remember
Oh.
at the Artist Lounge.
Perukaville?
Perukaville, it was in
Sounds really familiar.
in Germany, and it feels like it's like I feel like they're like under the same company, but like I remember the Artist Lounge was they had like a top like Michelin like chef. It wasn't like just basic like just pizza backstage and stuff. It was like
What?
gourmet like chocolate fountain, and I was just like, this is how they get down.
Chocolate fountain?
Yeah, I was like, this is how they get down in Europe. This is insane. Like,
That's Europe. This is a common Europe music festival.
I feel like
thing?
the bigger, yeah, like the bigger ones, like the Tomorrowlands, Prukavilles, and like those. You know, 'cause I played a couple other festivals, and it's still insane. But like the catering aspect of it was just like, yeah, icing on the cake.
Well, now I have to try and go to Tomorrowland one day if I could ever find time. But my question for you is, what is Diesel like in person? Because my dream is to mosh pit with Diesel, with Shaq one day. I think I would do a pretty good job.
Yeah.
He would. That's the thing.
Run into him.
Honestly, he has to like
My
be
dream.
careful. It's so funny when he goes. He just like kind of stays still, and then everyone else just
Like,
hits him.
how tall is he compared to you? Right? Like
He's probably two of you. I'm not even kidding. Like he's like, it's insane.
this? Like
It's-
he would be on
it's
top
insane.
of that screen?
Probably not legitimately exact, like, but it's like it would feel like that because I feel like he's two of me. You know what I mean? It's like it's wild.
Yeah, every time I see him, I'm tall too, and
Yeah,
I'm literally
Wait,
looking up
yeah,
like
you
this.
see
I'm
me?
like, yo, what's up, man? Like,
It's
Wait, he's that tall?
yeah,
I don't know,
like
I only
yeah, 'cause
see, like,
we just saw him this
pictures of
past
him.
weekend, and even still, like walking up to him, I was like, I don't usually have to put my head up to look at someone. Like I'm usually looking down,
Yeah.
and I was like, yo, what's up, man? Like,
That's so good. That's my dream. Mosh pit with Shaq.
oh, wow.
Oh my gosh.
Little
Those are
child.
Samoyeds, aren't they? Those are Samoyeds,
they're so fluffy.
right?
I think the one was a chow because they had the purple
Oh,
tongue.
chow.
But
Yeah, chow are like, oh, I thought it was Samoyed. Samoyeds are just white. Or
True,
do they
yeah,
come-
yeah, the clouds, yeah, and the cloud dogs.
The cloud
when you
dog.
can't see their face, it's just like.
Yeah.
What are your dream breeds? Dog breeds. If you could have a dog, because you can't.
My dream breed, like honestly, I want like a Saint Bernard. Is it Saint Bernard or Saint Bernard?
Bernard,
Is that how you
the
pronounce
brown,
it?
the Beethoven dog.
Yeah,
in
that's
that movie?
okay. Bernard, yeah, that's the one I like. When like I'd imagine I'm not touring that much. I have a family and like a nicest space house. Like
Yeah.
I would have a massive, just chunky dog.
Yeah. Oh, I love that.
Yeah, that's my
I love
my
that
breed
breed
right there.
so much.
I feel like I probably want like my dog growing up with like a Rottweiler and a black lab, so I love like that size dog. But I also have been torn now to a pug. I just think they're so funny. A pug. And like at our meet and greet. This is so funny. We had a meet and greet in LA, and someone brought their literally like just for us to meet her pug. What? Like she didn't even ask. Like it's fine. Like
it was like, oh, meet the dog. And then just,
it was hilarious. Like
What?
it was.
She just wanted you to meet the dog.
Yeah, I
that's
think she
it.
just wanted us to be a dog, which is fine. I was like, maybe she had no idea who we were, which is fine. But I just thought it was so funny. She was like, "Here's my dog," and then just left. And we were like, "Cool, I love the dog."
Wow. What is like do you think that's one of the weirder, or not weirder, just like out of the
I just love their
ordinary-
personality. Like they're so. My whole
Encounters?
Instagram now, because basically my girlfriend loves them, and I was like, I don't know. And then I started like watching videos on Instagram, and half my page is just pugs doing dumb shit. I'm like, you know what? I need something stupid and funny like that in my life. It sounds amazing.
Oh my god, it's so funny. Okay, last question. And I think you guys all know this. You've answered this twice already. Do you guys even remember what you guys answered to this? Last
probably
question.
don't.
What do you want to be remembered for?
Probably probably a different answer every time. Who knows?
Yeah, I feel like
Yours is like the same theme,
Oh, okay. Good.
but yeah, answer. What do you want to be remembered for?
like together or just in
Oh,
like,
for you, I guess
like
guess
applying
maybe
to some music,
both.
right? Like or just in.
just in general.
I think
you
I
personally.
think honestly like I take great pride in like my live sets, and I feel like that's something like I always want to be remembered for is like having a set that like is like one of a kind. Like it's something that's just like you know that's for me it's special. You know the music is important as well, but it's I don't know like the sets are fun.
Yeah. Remember?
I can 100% say I do agree with him that I already remember. I'm like, yeah, this guy knows how to play a crazy set. No one can mix faster than David.
Really?
Literally, like I'll make like a crazy edit and I forget to tell him, and I'll be like, oh shit, this one's about to end. And he's like, no worry. He's like, he gets it. I'm like, oh wow, okay, you got it.
Wait,
You're good.
what?
We're both pretty good at it, but David's
good at it.
David's super quick. I'll give him that. He knows how. I love it. Like that's one thing that's super fun.
Wait,
Like
you literally were talking about how slow you are.
no,
no,
this
no,
guy
but-
can mix like a lightning strike.
Music in a studio.
Wait, mixing like what?
Live mixing.
Yeah, so making music in the studio, yeah, I'm
Oh.
slow, but like live at a show, like it's something like I can just pull songs and just like it's like I don't know, autopilot basically.
What?
Yeah.
Wow. Actually, what is the best piece of music production advice that you guys have or have ever received?
I think the best piece of music advice I've like ever received, and this was actually from Snake like years ago, and he was just like, I've actually received this from Snake and Afrojack, and they were just like, yo, just stay true to yourself, and you know, have fun with it, but also just remember who you are, and like you know, remember who your fans remember you for, you know, like if that makes sense, like
Yeah.
you know.
That's a tough one. I feel like I don't know if anyone's ever actually like physically told me something that I like remember or hold on to. I think mine's more like it's like a lead by example thing where like I said earlier about like how like Diplo or Tiesto or Ghetto or all these guys that have been around for years, I learned that lesson super strong, and I think it's a good lesson for everybody else. Is like I might have already said this in another Sidewalk talk because I feel like I say this in every interview, but it's like if you stick to something, man, like you will see results eventually. It's really, you will see it. Like a lot of these
I
guys,
pray.
you know, 100%. A lot of people don't find success
Yeah.
until they're 30, maybe 40, maybe 50. Who knows? Like it just is. It keeps going. It's like you're still alive. It doesn't really matter. It's just we see the Martin Garrixes and 16-year-olds, and you're like, you know, that kid on TikTok that's like making super. It's amazing. It's cool that they're super young and they did it, but like, you know, don't worry about that. That to me, the best piece of advice is like letting yourself grow at your own pace and not just looking at someone else and be like, oh, I have to. And I do it all the time, honestly. So I'm guilty of it. But it's like
Yeah.
you gotta like be working on that at all times.
Okay. Well, guys, thank you so much for being a part of this channel and doing this interview.
Yeah, thank you for having us.
Thank you for watching. Saymynitti.
Let's go. Peace.
Bye.
Later.